Hello and welcome to another World of Warplanes replay video with me, Certain Death. The Douglas A-26B bomber has just been released on the European server. It's been for sale in Russia and in America for the last week or two, and we got the Blenheim 4 last week, which I did a review of last week, and we've just got the Douglas Invader today, and I'll be asking, is it worth the gold? Is it worth you spending your money? Here it is in the hangar. I've just bought mine. I've just put the usual bells and whistles on, a few bits and pieces, and I'm going to hit the battle button. I'm going to take it out for its first ever run out and see how I do. This could go spectacularly wrong, or it might work. Let's see. Right, so we've got ourselves in a tier 7 game where we're not the only bomber. There's another bomber there as well. There's two on each side here. So quite a few bots involved, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see what this how it pans out like. I'm just clicking the map there to show that I intend on going to that mining plant early on, because mining plants are worth quite a lot of superiority points. Oh, that looks nice. Now I've actually got the naval paint job on here. I'm not sure how much it would be by way of camouflage, because it's a big old colourful tail saying "shoot me please," but it does look rather snazzy, so yeah, it looks good. I like it. I like how it looks so far, and I'm going to see how it plays and whether it's worth the gold or not. I was singing the praises last week of the Blenheim 4. I was suggesting that as long as you don't need super exciting gameplay and you're happy to play a more sedate play style of floating around in the sky quite high up and dropping bombs, then the Blenheim will make you credits, and it is also quite good fun to play in a more relaxed way. Let's see how the Douglas performs. Let's look at some stats while we're approaching our first target here. The Douglas is a tier 6 American bomber. It's got 1200 hit points, which is quite substantial. That's pretty impressive. It means it can take a bit of a beating from those anti-aircraft guns or any heavy fighters that get on your tail. Its manoeuvrability rating is 232, which is on the low side, but you'd expect that. This is a huge flying fortress, so it's not going to perform particularly well. So I'm just approaching the first target here, dropped into bombing mode. What I like to try and do with my bombers, now that I've got a bit better used to playing the Blenheim anyway, is I try and line up an attack run where I can hit 3 or 4 things in a row, because these things don't turn easily. So I'm just going to drop the first bombs. There we go. Now you'll notice that this drops them in batches of 4. I wasn't clicking the spacebar like a madman there. There's another batch of 4 away, and another batch of 4. Now I have to turn here. Can I get this on top of this anti-aircraft gun? Yeah, I can. Okay, so that's the first 16 bombs away. So it carries 16 as its payload as standard, but it drops them in groups of 4. So you essentially have 4 taps of the spacebar at a time. As always, what I tend to do as I'm reloading is I just try and sort of move a little bit erratically, turn left, turn right a little bit, so it's not too easy for the anti-aircraft guns to pinpoint me. Once the bombs are more than halfway, I normally swing back around towards the target so that they're back in the payload, ready to be dropped once I'm heading forward. So I've got another straight line to go here. Here we go. There's the first 4 going down, and I'm going to drop another 4 here. There we go. And on this anti-aircraft gun. Yep, I'm trying to see, can I get left to get over the top of this one? Yeah, I can. Yeah, there we go. That works well. Yep, so that's working pretty well. So I haven't done a lot of damage so far. I've just passed the 1,000 mark. That's not too bad. I'm doing okay. I have taken a little bit of a hammering from those anti-aircraft guns. They're I mean, they've taken a fair slice off me, but in a lesser craft I would have already been shot down by now. So this is, yeah, it's taken a bit of a kicking and it's doing okay. I'm not too complaining about this so far. Its controllability is 71, which is reasonable, but you have to be aware that in such a big aircraft it does turn slowly. So it's worth... Now here you see I got things wrong a little bit. I hadn't actually calculated correctly, so I had already gone past the first target I intended on dropping bombs on before I managed to get them fully loaded. And here I'm trying to spin around to see if I can get them on target, and I actually can't. This is one of the problems with it. If you actually try and circle around above an installation, and yeah, you can't really get those bombs on target. So you've got to plan ahead. You've got to make sure you approach in a way where you can, as I did earlier, hit 3 or 4 things pretty much in a straight line, and then go off and turn around while you're busy reloading. So still just going around here. Now, that's interesting. An enemy bomber has come in front of me. Now, this carries as forward armament 6 12.7mm guns. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend getting into any kind of dogfight with planes, but here he is. He's in front of me. I'm going to try them. I want to see how it works out, because it's the kind of question that people might ask me. They might say, well, how do those forward firing guns or the rear firing guns, how do they actually do? Now, so far, I'll tell you what, they're doing very, very well. I've just basically parked up behind this guy. Yes, I am taking some heat back because his rear gunner is shooting me, but the rear gunner has 2 12.7mm cannons. The forward guns has 6 of them. So in a straight one-on-one with another bomber of the same type when you're behind them, you are going to outgun him by sitting on his tail. Not a great strategy, but if the two of you are sort of vying for the same area, trying to sort of take the same airspace, it's worth trying to get rid of the enemy bombers, because it's going to make my life easier if I can get them out of the picture. So I've just decided to do it again, actually. You notice now my health's getting pretty low. I'm getting towards the end of this first sortie. I'm not too worried about that. I've done over 3,000 combat points, which I'm pleased with that. It's doing alright. And I don't mind dropping out of the first sortie and getting myself a fresh new shiny plane pretty soon, as long as that happens before the squall line comes down, which hasn't happened yet. So I'm still doing damage on the enemy bomber. At very worst, if I don't polish him off, what will happen is I'll get an assist for whoever does eventually kill him. I'll get an assisted damage for helping to finish him off, although I'm still trying to do my very... There we go. That's me out of there. So at the minute, team-wise, we're pretty much level. Slightly behind, I'd say. Yeah, on the whole. So have a quick look at this. I've done myself over 3,000, 3,500 near enough combat points. We're behind on points as a team, but we're currently on a +6 and they're on a +3, so we should even this out, hopefully. And when I respawn here, I'm looking at the map and I'm deciding I'm going to go for that central area, the one that's already taken by the enemy, because if they've already got a place taken, that they are busy racking up superiority points all the time, if I can go in there and upset the apple cart by throwing my bombs around, then that'll do me pretty well. So I'm just trying to stay at a little over 2,000 meters. The optimum altitude for this aircraft is about 2,000, but I tend to find that if you hover just above that, a couple of hundred above that, and then if you do happen to get an enemy aircraft on your tail, you can normally get out of dodge pretty quick. So once again, I'm having a look at the target well in advance so I can try and spot. You see how I'm adjusting here? I'm adjusting so I can try and line up 4 targets in the line, because what I don't want to be doing is trying to swing the aircraft left and right. So I'm trying to just to get it so I can get that first target, and then I'm going to go and hit those other 3 in a straight line as near as I possibly can. So here comes the first one, and that's the first lot of bombs away. And then I'm lining straight up on the second one. Here we go.
We've lost control of the command center.
It's the second lot away now. I've just got the enemy on my tail warning here. Drop those on that anti-aircraft gun and just drop these on here. And then I really want to deal with this guy that's behind me. Having said that, my rear gunner's just shot him down. That's very good. I've just got the credit and the point for doing something that I didn't even do. Yeah, the AI that's in the back of the plane shot down an aircraft behind me. So as I said, I'm just going to zoom off a little bit, turn around while I get another batch of bombs ready, and then come back in again from a different angle. And again, try and look for my best route. Once you've done a first run past an area, often the damage means you can't easily pick out your second attacking run. So I'm going to hit this first target here. Drop them on there, and actually we've just taken that area, so there's no point in me dropping any more bombs there. I'm looking at a quick look at the map, seeing where is currently a red zone where the enemy currently have occupied, and that's over here. I can get there pretty quick. I've still got 12 bombs ready to drop. I'm on nearly 6,000 combat points now. Now I've got somebody on my tail. I'm going to try out the rear guns now. I said earlier I've got 2 12.7s, and this is a fighter, and he's not very far behind me. Let's see what I can do. Assuming he doesn't try and get out of the way too much. He's not, you know, he's going to sit there, and I'm going to punish him. 2 12.7mm cannons, if that's going to stay in my rectangle, is going to... Oh, wow. They've just torn him apart. Now, those guys are too far away. So that's showing something else that others might ask about. The front guns are pretty good at dealing with somebody in front of you if you can get on the tail, and the rear guns, if you get particularly a lightly armoured fighter who's going to sit there, they can really rip him up as well. So I've reached the other destination I was going to now. Drop the first lot of bombs here. Just drop another lot on this area. Swing round a little bit. Try and hit this anti-aircraft gun here. There we go. And then, yeah, I'll move off again. Okay, I've just passed the 8,000 combat points. This is my first run out with this aircraft. I have to say I'm liking it. It feels a little different to the Blenheim. It's a little bit less mobile, a little bit slower to turn, but you'd expect that. It's a bigger aircraft. It's a big, huge, lumbering beast. So I'm just swinging around here. As a team now, we're just edging ahead now. I certainly feel that I'm contributing and doing my part, and I have to say I'm enjoying this. So we've mentioned the guns forward and back. We mentioned the bombs. We've talked about the maneuverability and controllability. We've talked about optimum altitude being around 2,000. Yeah, so that's pretty much all we can say about this. Let's just drop some bombs on here. Now, if targets are far enough apart, you can actually adjust. So I'm going to drop them on here, try and swing round and get some onto this target, and then get them on the next target. So the key to playing bombers effectively is to look at the map, decide where you need to relocate to. Always try to be going to the places that your team either are trying to capture and help out, or that the enemy are gaining points from. If the enemy have got an area locked down, and there we go, I'm looking at the map now and seeing that place over there is red. If I can get across there, throw a few bombs on the ground, I'm going to disrupt their capping and slow down the points that they're getting at the top. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And once you get close to an area, do pop into bomber mode and just have a look at the sort of attack run you're going to make. Make sure you've got yourself 3 or 4 targets pretty much in a straight line so that you can make life easy for yourself, unless you get interrupted by an enemy bomber or something like that, sorry, an enemy fighter or something coming and ruining your day. Then other than that, you can pretty much play this in quite a comfortable fashion. So I'm just trying to get there. One thing I haven't mentioned, it does have a 60-second boost. Now the game's almost won. I'm just trying to pinch myself a last few points. Can I just get there and throw a few bombs down? We've almost capped, we've almost taken the game now, almost there. We've got 100% superiority, and just as I pressed the space bar, the game was won, so I had to cut straight to the end screen. 131,000 credits, wow. Got myself a rear cover and a self-defense master award. Got the 5th class bomber award, which is not spectacular, but it's okay. 3rd overall in the team. 131,000 credits is very good. Yeah, 42 parts of ground targets destroyed and 3 sectors that I helped to work capped. A lot of little sub-missions are going on here because of the events happening this weekend and various things going on, so that's contributed towards that 131,000, but even without those I would have pulled in around 100,000 credits. 3rd overall in a tier 7 matchup and managed to outperform a couple of other tier 7s, so I can't really complain of that. So is the Douglas Invader actually worth the gold? In my opinion, yes it is. It's currently available in 3 packages in the EU that start from €20, about £17. I got the middle one, which was £25, I believe. It plays very like the Blenheim in that it's a bit slower, but it will pull in credits, it will earn experience for your pilots, and it's fun to play. I like this bomber, and if you like bomber play, I recommend it. It's worth getting. Thanks very much as ever. Please do share and subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.